Okay, good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the November 23rd meeting of the Finance Committee to order. There has been a request to allow remote participation from Member Krajewski under Section 7C of the Open Meetings Act. We are, if a quorum of members. Okay. Hello again. We have two members seeking to participate remote, Member Krajewski and Member DeCiani. And pursuant to Section 7 of the Open Meetings Act, if a quorum of members of the public body is physically present as required by Section 2.01, a majority of the public body may allow a member of that body to attend the meeting by other means if the member is prevented from physically attending because of, we have Member Krajewski with a personal illness and Member DeCiani because of employment or business. So is there a motion to allow Member DeCiani and Member Krajewski to participate? Okay, we have a motion by Member Desart, a second by Member Garcia. Oh, by Member Salmon. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Thank you. Can we have a roll call, please?
Member Chaplin.
Here.
Member Chavez. Member Covert. Member Desart. Member DeCiani.
Here.
Member Eckhoff. Member Garcia. Here. Member Hart. Member Krajewski.
Here.
Member LaPlante. Member Ozog. Member Pachalski. Member Renahan. Member Rutledge. Here. Member Schwarzy. Member Salmon. Member Tornatori. Member Zay.
Thank you. Do we have any, we have a quorum. Do we have any public comment? No
No, ma'am.
public comment. So I would just like to welcome Sheriff Mendrick and all of his staff here today. And with that, we're going to move on to the presentation and we're going to welcome Chief Gunther up to the podium to give his presentation on the emergency response vehicle. So welcome.
Thank you very much for having us. This is a much larger crowd than I'm used to talking to at my village board meeting, so it's nice to see a lot of faces looking back at me. Joining us today is the majority, if not every member of the Merit Executive Board over in the corner. It would take too long to name them all, but they're all over there. They all have shoulder patches on, so you can figure out who they are. We're gonna start the day by watching a movie that we created that basically crystallizes everything that the Merit Task Force does for DuPage County. And we're very proud of the movie for a lot of reasons, most notably because all of the people that are participating in it, or the vast majority of them, are actual Merit members. So they're not actors, they're the actual people that do the hard work for all of DuPage County. And I want, before we started, I want you to take note of, as you're watching it, the level of professionalism, the intelligence, the smart way that we police, that we solve problems, that we de-escalate situations where we do not force confrontation. We put a lot of hard work into everything that we do, and really this video was going to demonstrate that. So if you could please roll the tape.
911, what's your emergency?
Oh, thank God. I'm at First Central Bank on North Avenue. Two men just came in, tried to rob everyone and started shooting.
Okay, ma'am, stay calm.
I think the guard shot one of them and they ran away.
Are you injured or is anyone else injured?
I'm fine. I don't know if anyone was hit. You've got to hurry.
Okay, ma'am, sending units right away.
Dispatch, this is Merit Unit 1. Heading to location now to secure the building, and we'll follow up with evidence team and major crimes detective unit. We'll keep an eye out for the vehicle. Notify area banks and businesses to be advised.
This is Merritt Unit 2 on location. Surveillance footage and witnesses confirmed. 2 armed suspects, white, male, 160 to 180 pounds. Fingerprints and blood samples are being analyzed. Scene is in the process of being documented.
All units be advised. Suspects from First Central Bank robbery reported in Jerome Hubbard Woods. Vehicle is a blue minivan with obstructed plates.
Dispatch, this is Merritt Unit 3 in pursuit of suspects with the 2nd unit.
Copy, Unit 3.
Suspect's vehicle has just crashed into a tree. They're exiting the vehicle and fleeing on foot. One headed north, and the other is eastbound.
Copy, Unit 3. Do you need backup?
Affirmative, dispatch. Requesting drone and K9 unit to this location ASAP.
Copy that, Unit 3. Requesting Merritt drone and K9 unit. All available units be advised. One suspect has been spotted entering Lansing School. Suspect is still believed to be armed.
What's your emergency?
I'm not sure. There's been a shooting and,
Sir, can you give me a location?
yeah, we're at High School campus. I'm barricaded with 2 students in the main office.
Stay on the line. I'm sending officers right away.
All teams, this is Merritt Command. K9 units have tracked one suspect in the woods near the crash site. The suspect's firearm was recovered. Shepherds are clear to move in and place suspect into custody.
Command, the suspect has surrendered and is complying with officers. Unit 1 is processing the crash site.
All units, this is Merritt Command. Our drone team has identified activity believed to be the suspect. He's armed and appears to be holding hostages. Team 1 is attempting to make contact with the drop phone.
If I let the students go, what's in it for me, huh?
What's in it for you?
Yeah, you know, if I give you something, you can help me get out of this, right?
If you want to get out of this, first, you have to let those kids go so they can see their families tonight. Let's start there.
All teams, suspect is releasing 3 hostages. Team 3 rendezvous with Team 1 and escort the minors from their location.
That was a good thing you did.
Yeah, well, now it's your turn. What are you gonna do for me?
Well, your friend already gave himself up. He talked. He told us all about you.
Wait, what? No, he's...
Look, I know you want this to be done.
I just need to think. If I put my gun down and let them in, they're not gonna shoot me, right?
If you do what they say, they won't hurt you.
All teams, suspect has just surrendered. Team 1 is escorting suspect to holding to be questioned. All other teams sweep the rest of the campus for any remaining civilians. We are all clear. Everyone goes home safe tonight because of you. Great work.
Thank you. We're super proud of that. And again, it's the high level of professionalism, and it's the ways that we handle situations, the way we negotiate with people before having to use force. These are all hallmarks of what Merritt brings to DuPage County, and we couldn't be more proud of the unit. So now we'll start the PowerPoint. I know that the PowerPoint was given to everyone here, so I'm sure most of you went through it. So I'll go through the slides fairly quickly, and really the oops, not too many. There we go. So really, we're here for 2 reasons. One, to give a brief overview of Merritt and what we do, because we're 2 years into the task force. We're trying to make sure that everyone realizes that when something complicated happens in DuPage, that Merritt is the organization that goes and fixes the problem. And then secondly, the request is presented for 2 vehicles that are much needed for the task force. So The request for the 2 vehicles is pretty straightforward, so I'll spend the majority of the time talking about the task force itself and making sure that everyone's familiar and comfortable with what we do. This is a pretty brief definition, but it explains exactly what merit is and what it does. So I won't read it, but I can let you know that we are 36 agencies strong in DuPage County. That includes the sheriff's office, that includes the Forest Preserve, that includes the College of DuPage. So really every square inch of DuPage County is covered by merit. And we feel like there is absolute value and power in the fact that we are all united from the county and the municipal level. And it's one of the things that make us unique, which we will talk about also in a few minutes. The task force has been activated north of 550 times in the last 2 years. Again, with thousands of man hours and for every component that we have. It's very well used and actually just on the increase as far as the frequency of being activated. In the history of merit and how we came to be, several years ago, DuPage County was covered by numerous task forces, including the Felony Investigative Assistance Team, or FIAT, the DuPage Major Crimes Task Force. The sheriff had a SWAT team and a forensics unit. We had a Incident Management Assistance Team, or IMAT. And then due to state mandates, we were in the works of creating a public integrity team, which is tasked with officer-involved shootings and in-custody deaths. So really, as the leadership and law enforcement of DuPage County took a look at this, we determined that the best course of action was to merge all of these units into one, and that's how merit was essentially born a couple of years ago. And in DuPage County, and I don't think we give ourselves enough credit, at both the county, municipal, law enforcement, public safety, fire. There's been a lot of resources and a lot of ways that we have shared services, which we were already familiar with, and from reducing the number of public service access points, or PSAPs, dispatch centers, down from probably dozens 10 years ago down to 2. Most recently with the sheriff moving his dispatch center over to ACDC, and Hexagon with our computer-aided dispatch, records management system, field-based reporting. All of that now is uniform throughout DuPage County, and these are ways that absolutely save taxpayers money and streamline services and the speed and efficiency. StarCom radio system, which we're all familiar with, which the ETS board was integral in getting that off the ground, culminating in I think we just approved the contract for new Motorola radios to replace the first batch that we had. And really sound planning and governance resulting in massive savings to taxpayers while vastly improving the quality of services to the public that we serve. And really that's the model of DuPage County. And I think that sets DuPage County apart from any other county in the state of Illinois. One other thing to note, the state's attorney's office implemented the tech share program. So now we, as a county, all the agencies dump digital, both videos and photography into the tech share program, again, for chain of custody issues, for ease to get to both the prosecutor and the defense attorneys, and really, great work being done by a lot of people, too many to name. On the command structure of merit, so we have kind of 2 sides of the house, the executive side and the operational side. So I'm currently the chairman. I was installed this past August, previously served as a vice chair when we got merit off the ground. And a couple things to note on the executive side is that the sheriff's position and the state's attorney's position are both permanent members of the merit board. All the rest will rotate out eventually. So I'll be the chairman for 2 years. I'll go to the past chair for 2 years, and then I'll be off the board, and then we'll move people around accordingly. But the sheriff and the state's attorney are both permanent fixtures. The sheriff is a voting member of the board. The state's attorney is a non-voting member because he gives advice and counsel for the most part, and certainly we welcome that. The state's attorney was integral in getting the IPSA off the ground that we all signed to create merit. And we have the DCCOPA, is DuPage County Chiefs of Police Association Liaison. So Chief Madden, the Chiefs Association is the umbrella. Merit falls underneath that association. So again, and there's people that serve both on the DuPage Chiefs Board and the Executive Board of Merit, which I'm currently the president of the DuPage Chiefs Board. So it creates a lot of work for my administrative assistant. So poor Ruth. On the operational side, the Merit Coordinator is currently Deputy Chief Billadu of the county, DuPage County. He's a predecessor of Deputy Chief Romanelli, who recently retired. The Merit Coordinator oversees the 3 deputy coordinators for the investigative, special ops, and tactical ops side, which you can see. So it's basically in a hierarchy chain of command structure. The Merit Coordinator oversees all 3 of the components, with component commanders and coordinators below that. Also to note, there are numerous county sheriffs sprinkled throughout the chain of command further down. 2 of the 3 assistant commanders of the SWAT team are DuPage County deputy sheriffs. So there's a huge fingerprint for the county within Merit itself. What do we do? So the 10 components, looks like number 10 and 11 got cut off, but so we're SWAT, major crimes, public integrity, major crash, forensics, digital forensics, crisis negotiation. So just a quick bit about some of those. Obviously, the SWAT team is the most labor intensive, requiring the most amount of people. They have multiple components within the SWAT team. They have negotiators, they have snipers, drone team, the TEMS, or the tactical emergency medical element of SWAT. And so obviously when we call them out, you're getting about 100 people, and you're getting 100 people no matter if you're in, if you're in Wheaton or you're in Wayne. I mean, you need 100 people, you get 100 people. It doesn't matter on the size of the member agency. The major crimes, which we like to brag that has an extremely high clearance rate. When we get called out, generally speaking, we solve the crime. So our clearance rate is great. Obviously, we work well with the state's attorney's office to get charges for people that require them, and they're used quite a bit. Public integrity, which is probably the most scrutinized component, because they're handling the officer-involved shootings, the in-custody deaths, obviously hot button, potentially political issues, and they do, and we're extremely comfortable and proud of the work that they do. The major crash team, which handles all fatal accidents. Again, they get called out quite a bit. You can see the news. There's been a lot of tragedies on the roadways. Westmont just had one last weekend with a car into a pond, and Merit was out for that. Digital forensics is an interesting one because it's based at the county, and there's a great deal of usage. And if you think about any crime or any incident, is all involving technology, whether it's a laptop, whether it's a cell phone, whether it's a computer that's inside of a car. There's so much crossover with the forensics. They probably touch every other component in some way, shape, or form just by cell phones alone, because every cell phone needs to be dumped and information sorted through, and obviously they handle that. And then crisis negotiations, they used to be attached solely to the SWAT team, but we found a need for the negotiators to be on calls where there is no imminent threat of death or great bodily harm, where somebody just needs to be talked down from a bad situation. We recently gave an award to several officers for talking a woman off of a 16th floor of the Westin Hotel in Lombard several years ago. And so it's not a SWAT function, it's a total crisis negotiation function. They went there alone, and they did unbelievable work in saving a life. And we like to call ourselves unique, or at least I do from my position. I think that we are the most unique task force in the country. If you think of a task force, generally you think of single focused task forces, like whether it's a drug task force or a gun task force, or they're generally one subject matter that needs to be attended to, where we handle 10 or 11. And just backing up one slide to the things that we do at our last executive board meeting last week, we're talking about the addition of social workers and peer support to the merit task force as well. So we're really looking at, social work in DuPage County, both at the county and municipal level, has been going on for years. And really, we have the expertise to integrate that also into the task force. So that's, again, one more reason why we're unique. The appointed command structure, none of us are consolidating power. I will be off the board. Other members of the board will be off the board. We are not power hungry and grabbing it. We will move that around with the exception of the sheriff and the state's attorney. And right now we operate with what we call nominal dues and personnel contributions. So really, currently every member agency, big and small, contributes $6,500 a year, which is up from $4,000 for where we started. And we're paying the bills and we're buying the equipment and getting them the officers the training that they need. And then every agency contributes personnel. So for example, I have 2 SWAT operators, I have a crime analyst, I have 2 accident reconstructionists, myself, and I have 1 person on the public integrity unit. So that's how Westmont contributes. Every other municipality and county also contributes manpower for what they can afford. Especially trained personnel, which is I think another hallmark of the task force. We have, and this is really why I sleep well at night. We have probably out of the entire SWAT team, we have a dozen SWAT operators that are doing their jobs 24/7 in the county at any given time. So they're actually on duty. So the reaction time when something happens, when a page goes out, whether I have to send Westmont personnel to Wheaton or Lombard comes down to Westmont, however it works, I know within an hour, we're gonna be up and operational, at least with a skeleton crew to start mitigating the situation. And that's really what separates us. As a matter of fact, I had a SWAT activation in Westmont for a barricaded suicidal a few days ago. And the first person at the door was my patrol officer, who's a member of the SWAT team. I mean, that was just, pure luck and happenstance, but it really, worked out well for the situation. And then the SWAT team was up and operational in 45 minutes and the situation was resolved, peacefully in about 2 hours. Recent events, there's been several, and not to dwell on any single one of them, but DuPage County is an extremely safe county for the amount of people that we cover. We're 336 square miles. We're 900,000 plus residents. We're millions of people that travel our roadways and visit our communities on an annual basis. So with that, the volume of crime is extremely low, and we're proud of that. And that's due to a lot of work. But recently, low frequency, high risk events. Roselle had a mass shooting where 1 person was killed and several injured. Bloomingdale at the Indian Lakes Resort, there was a mass shooting event where 1 dead and 6 wounded. Just a few weeks ago, a Lombard officer was shot at. And then obviously everybody is familiar with the officer in Bensenville that was actually shot, and it has a long road to recovery. In that time, between the Lombard officer being shot, we had 5 SWAT activations in 2 days. Literally, the overtime that we paid out was pretty high, at least for my 2 operators. But they literally were going call to call, 1 to Villa Park, 1 to Glendale Heights. And so obviously the need is there. And then just a few days ago, and as a cautionary tale, and the incident that happened in Waukesha a few days ago, where Waukesha, very similar to DuPage County in a lot of respects. It's a suburb of Milwaukee, where we're basically suburbs of Chicago. It's a random act of violence, completely unanticipated, extremely difficult to shut down. It happened. It was a catastrophic event. It was a unified incident command that had to solve the problems. And that could happen to any one of us in any community at any time. And we need to be there to pick up the pieces. So onto our request. Currently, Merit is in control of 1 vehicle that we own, which is this converted ambulance, which we use as an equipment truck for the SWAT team. This was a converted Oak Brook ambulance, and it's the only vehicle that we have actual control over, where it won't slip out of our grasp. Currently, the SWAT team has a Bearcat that's on loan from ILEAS, which is a state agency. We had 2 Bearcats, but one of them about a month ago got redeployed. So ILEAS took it back and they transported it down to the East St. Louis area where it was needed. So again, we did not control that vehicle. We could not say no. ILEAS came in and they moved that asset from one side of the state to the other. You're familiar that the county has an MRAP, which is a big, huge military style vehicle. And I don't want to put words in the sheriff's mouth because he's standing over my shoulder. But in our conversations about moving from the MRAP to the Bearcats, there's a lot of reasons for that. And this is a asset that the sheriff inherited under his administration. And like good cops, when something is free 10 years ago, we take it and we retrofit it and we try to make the best with it. It's not the best piece of equipment for what we need to do. It is a military style vehicle. It was obtained from the military. So it was built by military contractors. We want to phase that out and we want to move in with commercially available Bearcats, which is nothing more than a Brinks or a Wells Fargo armored truck. I think the sheriff is on board with that. I mean, literally MRAP stands for, I wrote it down because I had to look it up last night, mine resistant, ambush protected. So an MRAP is for military use for improvised explosive devices that our soldiers were suffering from in Iraq. And it saved lots and lots of soldiers. So it served its purpose, but that purpose is not in DuPage County. So we have a lot of borrowed equipment and equipment that we want to change. So the request is for that is before you is for 1 communications vehicle and 1 Bearcat rescue vehicle. On the communications vehicle, this is a picture of the NIPUS command vehicle. So we want something similar to that. Incident command, unified command, dispatch negotiations, a room in the back to do interviews, which are required to be recorded by law. So the room will be set up for cameras for when we have to interview people like right there in the field. The one great thing about DuPage County and Merritt is that we are contained within our county, where NIPUS is spread over numerous counties. And so the speed at which they can get this vehicle to wherever it needs to be from the Wisconsin border up as far as Zion or Winthrop Harbor, all the way as far as, the southern tip of DuPage County, that's a lot of area to be traveling with basically a big RV. So, in DuPage County, we can get that when it's centrally located to any spot, in 15, 20 minutes after a driver fires it up. And we have the Lenco Bearcat. This is the G2 model. There's model numbers G1 through G6. So this is the second smallest model that they build, which will absolutely fit our needs. The G2 holds approximately 12 people and associated equipment, and it's smaller, it's quicker, it's easy to get into tight places, and it offers an unrivaled level of protection. Where officers wear body armor, that'll stop certain types of ammunition, but not others. So like the body armor that we wear will not stop an AR-15 round or a .223, but this thing will. So, and obviously you see the surface area is huge and adds an unbelievable level of protection of the officers and the civilians that we're protecting or evacuating or triaging. I showed the picture on the right, the rescue vehicle, which is also a Lenco Bearcat, and you see the application on the fire and rescue side of the house, because depending on what the needs are is how it's customized, and really it illustrates that quite well. So as I mentioned, the Bearcat is commercially available. They're manufactured in the state of Massachusetts. They're mission specific, so we know what the needs are in DuPage County, and we will set it up for that. This is a reactive piece of equipment. It's not a proactive piece of equipment. It's not out on the street patrolling. It's only going out when it needs to go out. And, that's an extremely salient point to make. It's quickly deployable. It's quick, it's fast, and it gets to where it needs to be in a hurry. So, and obviously we use it for low frequency and high risk events. Also for open houses, because I always have it at my open house, because kids love crawling all over these things. And, so it's not just for low risk, high frequency events or low frequency, high risk events. So that's pretty much it. The citizens of DuPage County have come to expect that their government is prepared to assist in all circumstances. The need to protect life when they're the most vulnerable, especially during high-risk operations, will all be paramount to law enforcement, especially in DuPage County. So with that, I will take any questions. Wow, 3 hands shoot up right away.
Yes, we'll have member
I like
Ozag,
it.
member Bachowski, then member Zay.
It's like an auction.
I did.
Thank you so much for this great presentation. My question is about availability. Do you have any idea what the Bearcat situation is in terms of supply chain, et cetera? Any ideas?
Sure. We're looking probably anywhere from 8 months to a year to
Really?
obtain it. There is supply chain issues. There's a chassis shortage. The Bearcat's built on a Ford 350 chassis.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Okay. so
Well,
it's a
luckily we know some people, so we're
Okay.
gonna hopefully we can shorten up that time. It's still gonna take months to deploy.
at least half a year, probably.
Yeah, probably half a year at least, just because they have to build it from the ground up, and we have to customize it. So we haven't had those discussions. We wanted to secure funding first before we'll put the cart before the horse. But it's a great question, and really 6 months to a year, we hope to take delivery and have these operational.
Thank you.
Thank you. Member Bachowski?
I just want to say, echo that great presentation. I'm glad we're getting state-of-the-art equipment and we're not taking something and converting it or making it a Band-Aid. I mean, public safety and protection is such a huge component to DuPage County. And I was very excited by the presentation. Look forward to this being another tool that we could use to keep the residents safe in DuPage. So thank you.
Yeah, much appreciated.
Member Zay?
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. It's surprising, I've got to see this presentation twice, that the size of this county, that we don't have control of this kind of equipment. That, like you said, we had 2 Bearcats and all of a sudden one gets taken. And I think this is a needed necessity for our county, for our residents, that we have this and have the command center, that we don't have to depend on other people. I think that's got to be stressful for our officers in the command where, well, can I get this? Can I not get this? We have a situation. And the last thing I think we want to see is, if we would have had a Bearcat there, we maybe could have saved some lives. That's the last thing. So we appreciate you bringing this forward to us. Again, I think that your merit works great. I mean, with everybody working together in the county, shared services, it's just not one agency taking it all on, it's all the agencies. And again, this is just a great issue for us to get these things and make sure we have it. And we know what's going on to the east. You never know. I mean, something happens in the city of Chicago, they can call you guys tomorrow and that thing's gone and it leaves us with nothing. So this is really needed for our county.
Appreciate that.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Oh, member DeCiani, go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you. Chief, I just want to say these assets are important. Right now, many of our communities are still relying on NIPUS and other agencies, and Merit has been phenomenal in what the sheriff and you guys have put together. So we need to give you guys the assets to protect this county. And we had a standoff in Elmhurst on Saturday for 5-6 hours, and we actually had to call another agency in because of the circumstances. And I support the chief in that call. But we need to compete. There's other agencies that have better equipment, and we got to make sure that we're competitive and we protect the men and women that serve us and protect the towns that we're responsible for. So kudos to you guys, and I fully support both purchases. Thank you.
Thank you, member DeCiani. Member Rutledge?
Thank you, Chair Chaplin. Thank you for your presentation this morning. Good to see all of your officers here. Sheriff Mendrick, you mentioned that this could go all the way up to Zion and all around. So how does that look if we are assisting, or let's say there's a need in adjoining counties? Do we assist? Do we charge them for that service? How does that look?
Thanks for the question. So when I mentioned Zion, I was talking about NIPUS and their command vehicle because the NIPUS task force covers for the Wisconsin line, probably near the southern part of DuPage County. On the mutual aid aspect of it, we are very comfortable in assisting other agencies when something catastrophic happens. For example, Woodridge had a tornado that blew through, and you're talking about multiple operational periods. You're talking about police, fire, public works, really a government, stand-up government that had to operate in that environment. So if something like that happened, in another community, we've always helped each other out. And really, Merit is helping everybody out, but just in a much smarter way, in a way that where we actually pick the people that are trained up. We interview the officers that are on Merit. They have to pass, rigorous testing to become members of the SWAT team, especially. But we'll help out anybody. And, we've done that, throughout the history of law enforcement.
Thank you.
Thank you. Member Dessert and then Member Renahan.
Thank you. As I said 2 weeks ago during JPS, I completely support the purchase of these assets. And thank you so much, Chief Gunther, for your presentation. I appreciate it. So we've heard through this presentation kind of the law enforcement aspects of purchasing these two assets, but you touched upon the tornadoes, the Father's Day tornadoes. Could you give an explanation of how these assets might be used in an emergency other than law enforcement?
Sure. That's when the Woodridge tornado is a perfect example. So, actually the mutual aid is also another example. So on the public works side, because I'm talking about public works director is extremely knowledgeable. Public works throughout the state of Illinois has a mutual aid component. So if they need public works equipment, it's a statewide call out. We're a countywide call out. So again, we're much more regional. We're faster. And Woodridge and the town surrounding exhausted all of their equipment really quick. And you're talking about huge trees that were down, covering roads, ingress, egress. And really this equipment could be used to drag trees, in a very rudimentary, basic way, at least out of the way. You're not going to cut them down. They're not going to, but they can tow them. They can hook it. You can hook a big tree to a Bearcat and drag it right off the street. So emergency vehicles can roll, ambulances, fire trucks, public works vehicles, and we're going to do that fast. So we can get there, we can diagnose the problem, and then we can start clearing pathways for other stuff to come in.
Yeah, thank you so much for the explanation.
Flooding?
Yes.
When the Glenelg, I never knew what cresting was, but cresting is apparently where, like in the winter, after all the snow melts, it goes to the lowest points of the county, which always seems to be 4 lakes in the Glen Ellen area of 56 and 53. So I've personally been on vehicles like that where we're pulling people out of the 2nd story windows because the water's that high. 4 lakes goes underwater when this happens. So we've at the sheriff's office used our vehicle like that predominantly, I would say, for flooding issues is where it really comes helpful, because our cars aren't any better than yours. Our regular squad cars are not going to get over debris. They're not going to go through deep water, but those do. And that's what we use them for, at least at the sheriff's office.
Thank you. And, as I've said from day one, the safety of our citizens is our job one. So I'll be proud to vote for these assets. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Member Renahan.
Thank you. And thank you, Merit team, for being here. I'm so glad to hear from all you. I think there's no question at all that the county should take the lead financially in paying for these vehicles. And quite frankly, I'm a little surprised it took you so long to ask. So I think this is going to be very good for our public safety. And I thank all of you and love to see District 3 in leadership positions on the Merit team. One question I do have is we're obviously seeing uptick in crime, and the Oak Brook Mall incident with Louis Vuitton, I know, has been troubling to many people have mentioned to me. I know our car dealerships have been under siege. Can Merit assist in this type of thing as well?
It's a great question. And in Westmont, we have what we call the auto mile. So I'll address the car dealership because it's near and dear to my heart. Yeah, it's Merit can't help. Right now we're doing a lot of analytics with data, trying to figure out the MOs and the when and the where and the how, and then spreading that word throughout all the other member agencies. Matter of fact, my administrative assistant, who's on the task force as an analyst, is working with the FBI right now, where they're discussing the uptick in guns being used in crimes that are traditionally not weaponized crimes. So your thefts, your burglaries, even identity theft. I mean, it seems like everybody has a gun right now, which is a huge problem for everybody. And I was a detective 20 years ago, and these same types of crimes, it was you hardly ever saw weapons being used while stealing a car. And really that's what we're kind of trying to hedge and figure out and solve. And yeah, there's absolutely room to navigate for Merit to solve those issues.
Member LaPlante?
Thank you so much. I appreciate you bringing up the size of our county. I think it's really important that everyone is aware that with a county of almost 1 million people, more populous than 5 states, and such a large square mile capacity, if you think of it in that term and in that scope, and if you think of it at the state level, right, of what other states around the country would require to keep their citizens safe, this makes perfect sense for a county of our size. So I'm happy to support this initiative. Thank you for pointing that aspect out. I think it'll help anyone who's maybe on the fence see the need. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? So yeah, thank you so much. It was a great presentation. I really love the fact that you merged all of the different groups together that you had. I think that probably is going to lead to more cohesive, more cooperation, better communication. I really like that idea. And bringing these vehicles here, to Member Rutledge's point, we're going to have them right here in our county, so we don't necessarily have to wait for anybody else to come to our aid. So that's really a great advantage of that. It's really a responsible, great forward-thinking move. So I really appreciate that, and I'm really looking forward to supporting this. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right, well, thank you very much. Thanks all for attending. We appreciate it. Great presentation.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Nice to.
We're not as mean as we look. Thank you. So okay, with that, I will can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the November 9th? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Can I have a motion on budget transfers FIR 054621? We had who was the mover on that? Member Zay and Member Garcia the second. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. We move on to consent. Can I have a motion on consent items A and B? We have a motion by Member Zay, a second by Member Garcia. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. We move on to procurement requisitions. We have animal services. Member Krajewski, do you want to take this, or would you like me to have Member Selman?
I probably could handle it. I'll make a motion on 2021-1100, transferring of funds from account 523020 or 320, which is the medical dental supplies, $4,820 to 52,100, $231 to 52,200, and $3,937. And 52,220, $163 to account number 53,090. Total is $9,151.
We have a motion by Member Krajewski. Member Zay seconded early on. So any discussion on this item? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, Member Krajewski. We move on to development. Member Tornatori.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of DCP 439-21, a recommendation for a contract purchase order to TPI Building Code Consultants for plumbing plan reviews on an as-needed basis for building and zoning.
Okay, we have a motion by Member DeCiani, a second by Member Garcia. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of DCP 440-21, a recommendation to approve a contract purchase order to Safe Built Illinois LLC for professional services to perform building and plumbing plan reviews.
We have a motion by Member Tornatori, a second by Member Rutledge. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Thank you, Member
Thank
Tornatori.
you, Madam Chair.
We move on to item number C, economic development. Member Chavez.
I'd like to request a motion for EDR 051821, a resolution for the approval of issuance of payments by DuPage County to training providers through the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity Trade Adjustment Assistance Grant fiscal year 20 intergovernmental agreement 20661-006 in the amount of $31,381.
We have a motion by Member to start, a second by Member Rutledge. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Thank you, Member Chavez. We move on to item D, ETSB, Member Shorzy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to accept item ETSR 51021, a resolution, third amendment to the intergovernmental agreement between DuPage Public Safety Communications and the County of DuPage, Illinois, on behalf of the Emergency Telephone System Board for the DuPage Emergency Dispatch Interoperable Radio Systems in total amount not to exceed $150,000 with the new contract amount $1,563,459.35.
We have a motion by Member Shorzy, a second by Member Rutledge. Any discussion? Oh, I'm sorry, Member Renahan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Thank you, Member Shorzy. Member Renahan with Health and Human Services.
I move on HHSR 052721, resolution issues of payments by DuPage County to energy assistance providers for LIHEAP in the amount of $1,427,813.
We have a motion by Member Renahan, a second by Member Garcia. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Member Renahan.
I move approval of HHSR 052921, recommendation for approval of agreement with PADS in the amount of $5 million, including $3 million in CDBG CARES money and $2 million in ARPA state and fiscal recovery for purchase of interim housing center for PADS project number CDCV 21-03 and HHSR 052921.
We have a motion by Member Renahan, a second by Member Garcia. Any discussion? Oh, I'm sorry, Member Desart. You guys, the voices are sounding all the same. Do we have any discussion on this item? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Renahan.
All right, thank you. I move approval of HHSP 043521, approval of contract purchase order into a sub-grantee agreement with People's Resource Center to provide food, diapers, adult diapers, household pleasing supplies for low-income residents of DuPage County, January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2021, not to exceed 30,000.
Motion by Member Renahan, a second by Member Desart. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Renahan.
I move approval of HHSP 043621, approval of contract purchase orders to Cimbria for community wellness partner for wellness and outpatient center staffing management for the care center, November 30th, 2021 through November 30th, 2022, not to exceed 65,000.
We have a motion by Member Renahan, a second by Member Garcia, and Member Pachowski. Go ahead, please.
I had a question. I've never seen most qualified offer before. What is that different than most qualified proposal, RFP, RFQ? But I never, in my experience, we have most qualified offer. And I don't know, is that something that we have done in the past or not?
Could anybody speak to that anybody from procurement, anybody from finance speak to that?
It's always been an RFP and an RFQ. Now it's the most qualified offer, which I have no idea what that is. Hey, Sammy, I gotta send me a bill now.
Okay, Jeff Martinowitz is coming up. Thank you, Jeff.
Honestly, I think it's just a typo in the resolution.
I can sleep now, you know?
Wait a minute, member Desart didn't catch it?
All of our bid documents are the same as we always use.
All right, I just was curious. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for the question, Member Pachowski. Do we have any other discussion on this item? Okay, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Member Renahan.
I move approval of HHSP 043721, ratification of an emergency procurement for food services as secondary supplier for the care center, cafeteria and cafes on campus, November 24th, 2021 through May 31st, 2022, not to exceed 50,000.
Okay, we have a motion by Member Renahan, a second by Member Desart. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Member Renahan.
Move approval of HHSP 043821, recommendation for approval of contract purchase order to Cimbria for physical, occupational, speech, and respiratory therapy and consulting for the care center, November 30th, 2021 through November 30th, 2022, not to exceed $990,500.
Okay, we have a motion by Member Renahan, a second by Member Chavez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Member Renahan.
And I have move approval of a change order, HHSP 5A-21, amendment to resolution HHSP 5-21, issued outreach community services to increase the amount by 15,000.
We have a motion by member Renahan. Was that a second by member Rutledge? Member Garcia? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. And we move on to Judicial Public Safety, member Renahan.
All right, thank you. I move approval of JPSP 042921, approval of contract to Allied Universal Technology for security system maintenance and repair services for the campus for Office of Homeland Security Emergency Management request, 3-year period, December 1st, 2021 through November 30th, 2024, not to exceed $142,080.
We have a motion by member Renahan, a second by member Desart. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Renahan.
I move approval with JPSP 042821, recommendation for approval of contract purchase order for Galls LLC for new ballistic and stab vests for the sheriff's deputies, December 1st, 2021 through November 30th, 2022, not to exceed $125,000.
Okay, we have a motion by member Renahan, a second by member Desart. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Renahan.
I move approval of JPSP 042621, recommendation for approval of contract with DuPage Health Department to provide mental services for the probation and court services, December 1st, 2021 through November 30th, 2022 for probationers, not to exceed $208,000.
Did you second? Okay, we have a motion by member Renahan, a second by member Desart. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries.
All right, thank you. I move approval finally of JPSP 42721, approval of contract purchase order to Quicket Solutions to provide professional service software for an e-ticket application for the circuit court clerk, December 1st, 2021 through November 30th, 2026, $1,234,000.
Okay, we have a motion by member Renahan, a second by member Chavez. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, member Renahan. We move on to Public Works, member Ozak.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I move for approval of FMP 043221, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Helm Mechanical for the JLB HVAC improvements project for facilities management for the period December 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2023, for a total contract amount not to exceed $5,656,850 per lowest responsible bid, JLB HVAC.
Okay,
ARPA
we
item.
have a motion by member Ozak, a second by member Desart. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Member Ozak.
Thank you. I move for approval of FMCO 050921 amendment to county contract 5133001 SERV issued to Global Water Technology Incorporated to furnish and deliver water treatment chemicals as needed for county facilities for facilities management to increase the contract in the amount of $10,000, resulting in the need for county board approval and a new contract total not to exceed $35,000, an increase of 40%.
We have a motion by member Ozak, a second by member Garcia. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Ozak.
Thank you. I move for approval of PWP 043021, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Standard Equipment Company to purchase a Vector 2100 plus combination sewer cleaner for Public Works for a total contract amount not to exceed $485,655, contract pursuant to the Intergovernmental Cooperation Act.
Okay, we have a motion by member Ozak, a second by member Schwarzy. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Ozak.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Finally, I move for approval of PWP 043121, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Altorfer Industries Incorporated to purchase a mini hydraulic excavator for Public Works for a total contract amount not to exceed $78,470 per Sourcewell Cooperative Contract 032119.
We have a motion by member Ozak, a second by member Desart. Discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, member Ozak. I'll
Thank
move
you.
on to technology with member Selman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on TEP 441-21, a recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to IBM Corporation for the purchase of program product software licenses to support our server system. This contract goes from December 1st, 2021 through November 30th, 2022 for a total of $111,171.72, and this is sole source.
Okay, we have a motion by member Selman, a second by member Chavez. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Member Selman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on TEP 442-21, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Hewlett Packard Enterprise Company for a licensing and insight control system. This is covers a period of December 1st, 2021 through November 30th, 2022 for a total of $46,551 bought by the Governmental Joint Purchasing Act.
Okay, we have a motion by member Selman, a second by member LaPlante. Discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, member Selman. We move on to transportation. Member Pachowski.
Good morning, Madam Chair. I would move to approve DTR 0521-21, a resolution for a local agency agreement between the County of DuPage and Illinois Department of Transportation to approve 75th Street from Millbrook Drive to Green Road for an estimated county cost of $1,529,930.
Okay, we have a motion by member Pachowski, a second by member Desart. Discussion, member Chavez.
I just really want to thank our Department of Transportation for this particular item. I know that they worked really hard to ensure that they were keeping as many roads open throughout 75th Street, which is such a critical area for us this time of year. So I just want to thank their due diligence, their thinking ahead, and thank Chris Snyder and his team. So thank you.
Great, thank you for the comments. Any other discussion? Member Desart.
I just wanted to make a general comment that on the news yesterday and today it came out, and this is obvious, of course, but bad roads cost each individual taxpayer so much money on repair and replacement of tires and of our cars, chassis and all that. So congratulations to the Department of Transportation, because every time we fix a road, we save our voters hundreds of thousands of dollars. Thank you.
Thank you for the comment. Okay, any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Member Pachowski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move to approve DTR 0522-21, a resolution for a local agency agreement between the County of DuPage and Illinois Department of Transportation to approve 87th Street at Woodward Avenue for an estimated county cost of $2,132,000.
Okay, we have a motion by member Pachowski, a second by member Desart. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Pachowski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move to approve DTP 0433-21, recommendation for approval of contract purchase order to Gasaway Distributors, Inc. for the purchase of liquid calcium chloride as needed for the Division of Transportation for a contract not to exceed $48,800.
Okay, we have a motion by member Pachowski, a second by member Desart. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Pachowski.
Thank you. And finally, Madam Chairman, move to approve DTP 0434-21, recommendation for approval of contract to Wilco Inc. to furnish and deliver automotive lubricants as needed for the Department of Transportation for a contract not to exceed $55,000.
We have a motion by member Pachowski, a second by member Desart. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, member Pachowski.
Thank you.
We move on to finance and in member Krajewski's place, we're going to have member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to combine items 10A through 10F. These are all acceptance and appropriations.
Okay, we have a motion to combine items A through F. And who seconded that? A member Tornatore second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move on FIR 514-21, acceptance appropriation of interest earned on investment extension time for DuPage Animal Friends Foundation. Move on FIR 515-21, acceptance appropriation of interest earned on investment for DuPage Animal Friends Phase 2 capital project. Move on FIR 533-21, acceptance and appropriation of low income household water assistance program. Move on FIR 516-21, acceptance appropriation additional funding for Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. Move on FIR 530-21, acceptance appropriation of low income home energy assistance plan HHS grant. And move on FIR 519-21, acceptance appropriation of Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity Trade Adjustments Assistance.
Okay, we have a motion by member Zay, a second by member Garcia. Any discussion on any of these? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's a Scribner's error on FIR 523-21. We need to correct this. The effective date on the resolution should read November 23rd, 2021, not December 12th, 2021. So is there a motion to correct Scribner's error?
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries.
Okay,
Thank you, members A. Continue,
okay.
please.
I move on FIR 52321 as corrected, as acceptance and appropriation DuPage Animal Friends Unrestricted Grant.
We have a motion by members A, a second by member Garcia. All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam
Continue.
Chair. I move to combine and approve items H through K. These are all additional appropriations.
Okay, we have a motion to combine H through K. Is there a second? Second by member Chavez. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Go ahead, members
Thank you,
A.
Madam Chair. I move on FIR 53821, additional appropriation for special service area number 37, York Center. Move on FIR 54221, additional appropriation for the general fund account. Company 1,000, the amount of $6,300,000. Move on FIR 54321, additional appropriation for the general fund, the amount of $802,861. Move on FIR 54421, additional appropriation for the general fund, the amount of $315,857.
We have a motion by members A, a second by member Garcia. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Members A.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on FIR 53121, acceptance of the extension of time for the low income Kit Energy Light Program.
We have a motion by members A, a second by member Chavez. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Members A.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on FIR 51721, authorization to close the Workforce Investment Act checking account at JP Morgan Chase and to deposit and appropriate fund balance of $15,000 to Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Grant Program.
We have a motion by members A, a second by member Schwarzy. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Members A.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on FIR 54121, placing names on payroll.
We have a motion by members A, a second by member Chavez. Discussion? Yes, member Desart.
Yeah, I just wanted to say a hearty congratulations and welcome to our interim emergency management supervisor, Craig Diekman.
Great, thank you. Any other comments? Okay, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Members A.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on FIR 54721, various amendments to DuPage County Employee Policy Manual.
Okay, we have a motion by members A, a second by member Garcia. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Members A.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on FIP 44321, recommendation for approval of a contract issued to Mesro Insurance for general and automotive liability insurance.
Okay, we have a motion by members A, a second by member Desart. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Members A.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on FIO 0112-21, approval of employee compensation adjustments for fiscal year 22.
Motion by members A, a second by member Salmon. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, members A. We move on to informational. Members A.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to receive and place on file A, County Board, B, payment of claims, C, wire transfers, D, appointments, E, grant proposal notifications.
We have a motion to receive and place on file by members A, a second by member Salmon. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Do we have any old business? Any new business? Okay, I am advised we do have executive session today pursuant to the Open Meetings Act 5 ILCS 102/2 collective negotiation matters. So if we could take a second, we'll have everybody leave the room and we'll reconvene in a minute. Oh, can we have a motion, please?